Good afternoon. It's your King Ginger, doing gingery business. Why am I here on a Saturday afternoon? Well, it's because I am going to have to run tomorrow, so there won't be a prep school tomorrow morning. So instead, I'm going to prep now for a game I was dumb enough to volunteer to run. So what do we got? Um, well, first of all, um, it's not really a hot start here. We're doing a kind of weird prep style this time. Uh, we're gonna That's the background. Um, so I'm running for my wife's group. Um, so I'm trying to be very aware that they play a different style game than I usually run. Um, so I'm trying to cater to the absolute weirdness. She runs a game that has like cognizant food, and one of the players likes to rob graves, so that's what we're going to start with, as a grave robbery. Um, so it's a pretty simple idea. Um, they go to the location, they look and see what's happening. They remove the coffin. So there is a casino underneath because they're trying to get this treasure map, which turns out it's etched on the inside of the dead man's stomach. Which I'm pretty sure I put that in there. On the inside of their stomach. Perfect. Um, and the treasure map leads to a pot of gold that this person tricked off a leprechaun. So the goal is to get to that leprechaun encounter at the end. Will we get there? I don't know. It's about a 4-hour session, so it's a group I don't run for, so I don't know exactly what their back and forth will be like. So that'll be interesting. Um, so I'm trying to keep my dumb Lori stuff to a shrinky bit. So got dude's name is James Blackpeach. I don't know why. Um, Bad, not a good guy. He swindled a leprechaun in his youth named Stinky McCharmless. That made me laugh. Um, he got killed by swindling a local dame, Fleur Griffin Pennington, and she made sure he got hung and put in a potter's field. This potter's field is a part of this giant, multi-year cemetery called the Barrows. Um, no one's for sure where he's buried because he was buried in the potter's field. So it's going to be a little bit of searching to find him. My wife has a character for this game who's going to, when the other PCs find her, is already there digging up graves. Um, the group will have a rough idea where this is at, and then we'll do a little bit of searching to find it. Um, so when they dig up the grave, there's nothing in it; it's empty. Also, it's a actually, to get to the grave, they find a carrion crawler first. Like I imagine if anyone's ever seen the movie Nightbreed, there's kind of the big walled cemetery that they go into. There's a lot of high grass in there, just like a lot of dead branches and everything. And to me, it's like something that I constantly keep in my head. Um, Buildings in this case would be small crypts and also barrows and things like that. So I imagine like a rather than a big round boy carrion crawler, a really long, um, like centipede style crawler moving through the high grass, kind of like a shark through water. Occasionally you see the antennas kind of rise up, and they look like weedy, like almost like dandelions almost. Um, so maybe doing a couple investigate things because these things keep moving to figure out this is something that's not a plant. It's a carrion crawler antenna. Um, then there's a fight. They fight the crawler. The crawler realizes after losing about half its hit points, no thanks. This is too hard. So then they dig up the grave. The coffin is an animated coffin. It's a mimic. They love mimics. They're going to get some mimic love here. Um, One of its attacks is every 2 rounds. It'll just vomit forth a cloud of gnats, like a swarm of gnats. They'll do like 1 hit point per round you're in the swarm, and they'll obscure your vision, causing you to roll a disadvantage. I should probably put that in my stuff, huh? When in the swarm, take 1 HP. They're 3rd level, so I have to be a little careful of damage and roll all attacks at this. Okay, perfect. So on the back side of this thing is scrawled the word. Yeah, thank you, Hess. I liked it. I don't know why. It just seemed like it popped in my head. Couldn't get it out. It's one of those things where I was working and this all just kind of kept in the background of my brain, kept going. So I was decided I would use it to my advantage for once. On the backside of the animated coffin is the word rotten. It looks like it's been scrawled into the skin with like fingernails. Hopefully they'll kind of get that. Then it'll try to run away if it's starting to get really messed up. I kind of envision it as like the actual coffin lid and bottom turns into a big mouth. The cloth inside becomes a tongue. The bars used to lower it in, like the handle pieces, become like long, spidery legs, and it moves kind of with a spastic spider fashion. So they'll find a stairwell, like a rough-hewn stairwell down, and kind of want to play on the idea that this guy's he's a highwayman. He's robbed people before for large sums of money. He's, maybe not. I won't say like he's an escape artist, but maybe that he is a he's got out of tight spots before. So maybe the idea like that he had already arranged his escape. This is not the fact, but I want to maybe put that out there. Underneath, rough-hewn stairs, there's just piles of clothes. I'm a big fan of the Ragamuffin monster. This idea that it's a bunch of clothes that had been imbued with magic that are actually a person, I guess, or have some type of being. So rather than attack the PCs, this Ragamuffin is going to slowly try to steal a piece of cloth from each of the PCs to add to itself and its magic. So if they catch it, they can fight it. If they try to converse with it and they give it a piece of cloth, it'll spell out the words rotten with cloth. So, which leads us to the bottom, where it kind of got stuck. There's a door. It's a 2-part trap. The PCs talk to the doorman who's a zombie, and they failed to charm him. He'll activate the trap. It's a 20-foot pit trap into a 20-foot deep, I should say. Deep pit trap ending in falling into a gelatinous cube. I think I spelled that wrong. He'll then loudly pull a second lever that drops a large bell-shaped stone into the pit. So that's the idea: is you fall in and you're starting to melt, and then you look up and you see this bell-shaped stone fall from the ceiling to squeeze you all. That's not how. Charm him. That's probably. So then it's just kind of some checks and some escape movies and stuff like that. Um, at the bottom of where the cube is, there is a grate that leads to a tunnel. This tunnel opens up into the kitchen area of the casino. So they can either get in through the front door or they can get in through the kitchen. Um, so this is kind of where I'm stuck. I have to figure out once they're in, what's the game? What are their options? Um, so first of all, I need to separate this as far as option one would be the front door. Which ought to be. I usually put like a little title in the front. But I've done a bad job of that this time, so I'm just going to put the front door. The PCs enter, and everything stops as the locals all give them a once over for a minute before returning to their games of chance. Entertainment and meals. Okay, so that's our front door. If we go through the kitchen, I think through the kitchen there should be an optional quick fight, as there's like a ghoul chef who thinks that they're the food, and then they can come in after that. Maybe if they come in after that, there should be clothing that they can put on, giving them an easier ability to, like through subterfuge, move through everything, even though that they're living. Maybe everyone thinks there's some type of vampire thrall or something like that. Move through the kitchen. They encounter Ramsey, Oliver, a ghoul who was, when alive, famous for poisoning the food of a local baron. There was a ghoul chef in The Little Mermaid. I do not remember that. This led to him being thrown in a pit full of ravenous undead. Since he made his way to the Rolling Bones and has continued. I did not know that, Hess. Interesting. His culinary exploits. He'll make a. Oh no, I'll make the PCs roll dice. The PCs need to. What is the? I haven't run D&D for so long. Was it still called Sneak? Am I so old that I don't even remember? D and D skills 5E. stealth. I don't know why I can't remember the simplest things anymore. You need to make DC 13. I should just leave it like that. Stealth checks to avoid being detected. Should they fail, they'll have to fight Chef Oliver. If they succeed the stealth check, they can make their way into the Grand Hall, which we should say up here is the Grand Hall. Enter Grand Hall. If they are forced to fight, they can then take waiters' clothing and make performance checks? Deception. DC, we're going to be nice here, 10. Deception checks to move through the crowd, or through the patrons. Okay, so how are they going to find this map? They assume it's down here. Okay, so then we're going to go next step. Games. So what games? I'm not a gambler, and I'm definitely not a rambler, and I never have been. I need to think of some games some simple games I can have the PCs play, like just to kind of for flavor. Simple card games. Crazy 8s, Go Fish, War, Trash. I want it to be something quick. Oh, Cheat's pretty good. Players try to discard all their cards. Okay. I don't want to call it cheat, or I don't want to call it cheat. I want to call it something else. What's a good synonym for cheat? We'll call it hoodwink. Hoodwink's a good name. Let's just call their cards. We'll say each player gets, what, 10 cards? Lying about the cards they are playing if necessary. Yeah, but how do you do that? I forget what is the... Okay. I don't think I've ever played this. So this is probably a bad idea. Um, okay, this will be easy. That is super easy. Oh, Hess, you are giving those aren't even words I know. I just don't. I think we used to play Texas Hold'em, and I was really bad at it. So I'm trying to think of things that will be easy. Um, or dice. Dice would be a good one too. Some type of dice game. Um, by the way, this is the first D&D I've played in person since the pandemic. So also little kind of. Slightly intimidated by getting back behind the screen in person. Let's see if we I should just do dice game. I should just get my zombie dice out. That's actually very thematically correct, even. I want to have a third game option. Like these are going on, so they can see them. They can play if they want. Let's do this. The bets being laid down are for all sorts of interesting things, like the ghost may want a memory or a point of int, while a ghoul might be interested in eating someone's hand, or that fancy ass vampire might want a night of servitude. There is plenty of loot floating around as well. It's just that the undead are less interested in it. ECDC is what wins we'd play while waiting to start Texas Hold'em games. Interesting. All right, so I got to think of a third game here. I'm trying to think of something that is weird and uses some type of tactile element, because they do love, like Cassandra does, like little things that they get, and it really helps. Which she stole from me. I used to do that. I'm just kidding. I did used to do it, but she didn't steal it necessarily. She's just smart and uses smart tools in her game, especially smart tools that our players will enjoy. So I'm trying to think of a third game, whether you use cards or dice or a logic puzzle. Let's just Google D&D games. All right, someone's got a whole Reddit. Oh, they've got dagger juggling. Interesting. But that's less of a. Oh God, Dwarven Roulette on here is awful. 6 beer mugs are placed on a table. One of them contains traces of piss. 2 opponents take turns in choosing and drinking one. The dude who gets the piss beer loses. No sniffing allowed. That's amazing. Hmm. I like a lot of this, but I need something that's more gambly. These are all good skill checks. And see what I'll do with this is like they can use good skill checks, especially with Hoodwink. Um, uh, huh. I like this spreadsheet, but it's not really a casino. That's like a bar game. Okay, needs something. So if anybody's got ideas, need something that's less um, bar gamey or festival gamey. I need something that's more like James Bond. Um, Also, I don't want it to be something that takes up the entirety of the game because I know how that'll be. Ooh, pig's kind of interesting. Let's see how this. Um, it's called Pig. I've never heard of it before, but it looks real simple. I like the idea too. Like, so one thing I have up there is that like crawling claws are what's like running the games, right? So I like the idea of these claws constantly moving things around on the tables and scrawling on paper or skin. Um, it's a single die game. Okay. Beast first player to earn 100 points. You achieve this by rolling the dice and adding which number you roll to your overall score. Players are permitted to roll as many times as they'd like during their turn. Beware of rolling one because doing so will cost you all the points you've collected during your turn. If you've racked up points in order to score, only you choose to hold and keep the numbers you've accumulated during your turn. It will be up to you to decide if the risk is worth it. Once the player reaches 100 points, the game ends. Okay, we'll do that. I like what I think I'm going to call it glutton instead of pig to make it more in line with this. Ooh, three card money is a good idea. I just am not a good gambler. I don't gamble, and I like the idea of it. I don't enjoy it. So I don't really know the ins and outs. I don't like casinos. They make me nervous. Um, I had a lot of friends that gambled, and I didn't ever enjoy that. Um, my dad would play a lot of video poker, and they would go to Vegas every year. Not so I had a friend who would win thousands of dollars and then blow thousands of dollars, and he would literally trick me into going to the casino with him, and he used to make me so mad. So yeah, I have a weird relationship with that. Okay, I think we've got our three. Um, Players will need to win a few games to get into the auction, which is being whispered about by the what'd you call I guess casino goers. Black Peach's body is mentioned. Should the PCs at any point roll a search or investigate? What else would there be that would? Investigation. What am I? I'm thinking of like. Okay. What do I say? Search not a skill anymore? Geesh. Investigation. I would also allow insight. Perception, I guess I'd allow to. Just giving people some options to utilize for their skills here as they kind of move throughout. Or persuasion of DC 15. They'll need those wins for the buy-in. Don't state what the cost is. Instead, have patrons be coy about it, alluding that if the PCs don't have the, what would that be? It's not the cost, it's the collateral. They can always work something out. Creepy. All right, so we got through the games. And then the auction. God, is this too long? Should I end it at the auction, and then that way it leaves the map in their hands in case we ever play again, then we can go right into this map thing. Or Cassandra can pick that up with their normal game that they have James Black Peach's stomach skin map, and then they can deal with this shitty leprechaun. I don't know. If you have an idea there, if someone is watching and you have like, hey, this is what I think, please do not hesitate to throw in, because I definitely want one. Oh, this would be encounter 4. I just haven't run a game in so long where I wasn't on a clock. I've gotten really used to it. Not having that is a little intimidating. Well, I mean, again, if anybody wants a copy of this, by all means, just tell me. I'm always happy to give people what I have to use in their own games. Okay, this is encounter 6 then, actually. Encounter 5, because I think 5 is going to take some time. I'm thinking that 6 might be where I end it. Because I think the auction can use a lot of like interaction where I don't need to put down what skills, whatever they're going to use. I can just play the crowd a little bit, play the PCs, because I think six encounters for a group is plenty, probably for a 4-hour session. Especially because it's a group that is apparently kind of role play heavy. I would know I don't run for them. I don't play with them. So let's grab who our folks are up here. We got our Xorn, who is the guy. What did we say it was called? The Rolling Bones. Did we talk about when they? The room is massive with gaming tables laid out everywhere. There is a section with a buffet table that if a PC wants to see what is there to eat, they'll need a wisdom saving throw of 13 once they realize what's being served. On one stage, a flaming skull is doing hacky insult comic work, and on another, a banshee sings silently through sign language with a backing band of skeletons blowing into ornate instruments, producing no sound. I think that sets a pretty good tone. I think that's a pretty evocative kind of feel. The room is covered in large, lush tapestries that, if examined too close, reveal their moth-eaten what's the word I'm looking for here? Status. And they reek of blood, rot, and soil. Oh, that's good. That's good. Hess, thank you. What would be a good undead for that? Female undead in D&D. Banshees, Pentagallons. But they don't have hands. They ain't got no hands, Lieutenant Dan. How about instead of it's literally just ghosts and you inhale them? Like ghosts made of like a smoke, of like an acrid smoke, and they're literally just walking around and being inhaled. Lavishly dressed. Not lavishly, what would you call like how Betty Boop was dressed? What would that be? Flapper, glamour. Flapper, glamour, ghosts, comprised of acrid smoke, move through the hall, offering themselves for a fee to literally be inhaled by patrons. Yes, that's brilliant. Thank you. I kind of, all I can think of in my head is if anyone's ever read or seen the Amazing Screw-On Head, where the main villain in the cartoon, he's voiced by David Hyde Pierce, smokes the guy, just literally just turns him into a smoke and inhales him so he'll know everything he knows. I'm going to know everything you know. Showgirl or scantily clad also works. I kind of like the idea of like flapper style too. All right, the auction. The proprietor is a Xorn named Bjorn Crumbum. I think Zorns have multiple hands too. Let's see if I can remember. How many hands does Xorn have? Three arms. Okay. In one hand, I can't remember this with this one. Auctioneer's hammer is being wildly waved, and another. That is Anne, isn't it? Boo. Another stupidly long cigarette holder Burning a black cylinder smelling of brimstone. And finally, what should be in this third hand here? He's got a bag of holding, or some type of bag, a purse of holding. It's like a haversack, but just renamed. Where his Galabdur assistance make change. I think I spelled Galabdur right. Yep. Okay. I was like Galabdurs. They look weird. They're like little rock boys. Just kind of, I always think of them like kind of weeble wobbling around. Some of the items up for auction. All right, I want to think of at least 5 items here. Ooh. An artifact area given players once called the Pit Boss Blade. You roll a d6 before drawing, and depending on the roll, depends on the dagger's effects. I like that. I like that. Would you be okay if I steal kind of the rough outline of that? Because if you are, I'll use it. But I'll change the name and I'll fiddle with some of it a little bit. But I love the idea of it. I like it being some type of weapon of chance, because this is like a place of chance. So also I could kind of put it together with some like undead stuff, since this is kind of what they're dealing with. All right, so what else we got? What else can we think of that would be cool? Not terribly overpowered, but interesting to put in an auction in the bottom of a casino beneath a graveyard primarily full of undead. I'm thinking about like an item, kind of like if anyone plays Minecraft, a totem of undying, which basically, if you're going to die, this totem activates, and then you're back at full, but then it's gone. So, first thing I will put in there, a totem of who is a D&D character known for taking chances. So like a luck character, because I believe like one of the gnome gods, like I think Garl Glitterstone might be like known for his luck. Because if it does, I'll use Garl's name. I don't want character. I want like actual. Okay, Tamora's Lady Luck. So Totem of Tamora. As long as this item is on the person of a PC, then if they should fail their last saving throw, they will, or not they, the totem will be spent and they will return at full HP. Pretty simple, straight up theft from Minecraft. Not game breaking either. Okay, we're going to use trying to think how to word this. Call it the pit boss blade. I'm going to use that name as a holding point. Right now, because I want to keep Hess's name in it. I was hoping there would be a synonym for luck that started with an H, so I could keep the wonder of. I can't think of the words I'm looking for right now. My brain's starting to go. You know what? We're going to call it. I got it. Sheathed dagger. Once pulled, the PC must roll a D6, which determines the I guess it would be type and effect of the weapon while it remains unsheathed. It resets every long rest. Okay, so then we need to come up with a D6 worth of effects. All right. I think 3 1d6 rusty dagger that causes that's not what I wanted. D&D kind of want to know what a rust monster's effect does. Actions, rust metal. Okay. Ah. We don't need this. All right. Actually, it doesn't do a D6. It has a D4. It's a D&D effect. What else we got here? Trying to think what else. What else would be fun? A +2 D2 dagger, always dripping a viscous red fluid. When successfully used, any damage becomes temporary hit points for the user. It's basically like a vampiric blade. I always kind of like that. I'm trying to think of a couple that are like real wacky. Can I not spell it all? A 1d4 dagger. If an individual is hit with this dagger, the attacker takes that many items out of the individual's inventory. Each time this is done, the user needs to roll a strength DC check, which increases by 1 every successful strike. To not be, we're not going to do encumbered, but we'll do overwhelmed by all the new items. This dagger causes no actual damage. I like the idea of it like, yeah, I'm just taking all your shit, but it doesn't really do anything to you. Okay. This is a bastardized version of the Chinese straight sword, the Zhang, that the Junker Masters used, and then the prefix for small. I like this idea of this blade doesn't do anything but intoxicate you. You just stabbed and you get drunker and drunker. When an individual is struck by this blade, this glowing green blade, the attackee must make a DC 15 with saving throw. On a fail, they take a level of disadd. Every subsequent hit costs them either a level of whiz or int temporarily. Attacker's choice. After a loss from each, they gain another level of disadvantage. We're going to change that after a loss of 3 from each. Okay. Just get somebody hammered by stabbing them. Doesn't hurt them, just makes them wasted. Okay. Two more interesting weirdo weapons. Two more. Hmm. I think I got one. So we're going to use the plasmoid shape self. Um, so how do I want to word this as a somewhat negative effect? Bum, bum, bum. You struck individual immediately loses their ability. Oh, wait. The struck individual makes a DC 13 con save. On a success, they take 1d4 damage. On a fail, they immediately lose control of their form, becoming a limbless blob. With a trying if there's something that either I think I'm gonna say it's a survival check, even though survival I trying to think about like knowing the wild. I'm gonna just call it survival check. Actually, you know what we're gonna call it? We're gonna call it a charisma survival check. You're gonna use your charisma as the base score, and then if you have survival as a skill, you can dump the points in it. Make a charisma survival check of 14 to reshape their body into a rudimentary form. While a shapeless they have a human-like shape. They can wear clothing and armor. They can extrude a pseudopod that is up to 6 inches wide and 10 feet long. Into there. They can use a pseudopod to manipulate an object to open or close a door container. There's no sense triggers and can't attack active magic creatures more than 10 pounds. I kind of like that. I kind of like shapeless. I'd like to think of one more good one because I feel like I don't know if I've done your weapon justice here, Hess. Ooh. The only bad thing about a Thrall thing is if it hits a PC, there's a danger of them taking away their autonomy, and sometimes people get real pissed off about that. Could do like an invisibility, but that feels real trite too. Let's see. Let's see if I can find a strange effect here. Just look up strange effects. Strange items and curses. The duck blade, a blade that, when used for a wish, summons D100 ducks, often killing the user. I found one that has to be in there because of who's playing. Because they are all coffee fiends. The cursed rod of incontinence and the diadem of upward inflection. Also, I love. Those are both really great. I guess the last one could be a wild magic attack. It's very true. Very true. What if we use change appearance? It makes you look like the person you hit. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. What's it gonna be called? Reciprocity. Maybe it's holding. That's a holding name. When an attacker hits with this weapon, they immediately change appearance to that of the individual struck, as if was there a seeming is a 5th level spell, but affects more people. What the heck is the spell I'm thinking of? People usually use it to transform into monsters and things like that. Polymorph. Can polymorph make you look like someone else? Okay, we're going to do true polymorph. That of the individual as if being, as if having casted true polymorph. This effect lasts until they strike another Individual or after a long rest. I feel like that's a pretty good one. I do like the idea of a floppy and silly blade. I just used more, just like you had a good, like, I feel like this yours was a good like second edition where D&D could be real off the wall. I just made it very fifth edition is all, because I know that like if they get this weapon, then Cassandra's going to have to be able to handle it in the game. So I'm trying to make it something where she could look at it and go, yes. Um, not denigrating my wife's abilities, but just saying like um, we think in different ways. So if I can make this as something that would actually work, um, I gotta think of a better name for the blade. I'm thinking a like. A like kind of sounds like a good. I think a like. I think we're gonna name this blade a like. Reciprocity doesn't work. Also, it's way too long. All right. Has lucky break. We got that all done. The more I see that name, the more I like it. Bottle of Boundless Coffee is in there. Let's pull up the old Google machine and see if there's any strange D&D items. Strange, fun D&D items. Because I definitely like. Hat of Vermin's pretty great. Hat of Vermin. Summons 1d100 uncontrollable bats and or rats. I like the idea that you can't control them. Also, there's one here in the same list that is just also it's boots of teleportation, but they only teleport the boots. Any where the wearer can visualize, but only the boots actually teleport. It's so mean. I do like it a lot. So I want to think about like 2 to 3 more items. Like, don't even have to do weapons or anything. They could just be weird things. That was one we wanted to do, huh? Mirren, the Marvelouses. Goblet. The goblet of a fabled wizard. Rumors abound that if drunk from daily, it can increase one's intelligence. Not true, but it's one of those things. I want to throw a couple more of those in and then be done. What else is there? What else would be fun? Needle and thread that do mending. A set of 3 needles and endless thread. When used, they act as a mend spell on items. There is always a 20% chance of a needle breaking, and once all 3 break, the item becomes, break. Only a normal roll of thread is left. One more. Trying to think of something like something weird. No. I was thinking about a sugar hook, but I don't think that's going to work. I really wanted to find something about bees. So someone has one in here that's just called Shield, a perfectly normal buckler shield, +4 to AC, +1 to attack rolls. Don't tell them it's actually a naked goblin man under an incredibly powerful illusion magic. Instead, just let your magic users flip their shit. With 3 sessions later, they get true sight and realize the paladin has been walking around with a naked man clinging to his arm the entire time. It's pretty good. But I really want with bees. Ring of moral support, a magical ring which cannot communicate in any way but enthusiastically supports its wearer in every endeavor. Yes, there it is. There it is. I love it. Of moral support. We'll call it ring of support. But it's this one. Actually, a ring. Actually, the ring of moral support. The ring does nothing, or the ring has no magical effects, but always enthusiastically supports the wearer in any endeavor. I love it. Okay, that really. Thank you, Reddit. That words I never thought I would really use, but that is so good. Um, I really like it. Okay, there we go. We got our items that are up, and then just like I might throw some other stuff in if they're having fun. The final item is Black Peach's map. The main reason most of the patrons would want it is to be able to trade. What was his name? Stinky McCharmless. His gold. You know what? It's not his. We're say it's a her gold back for some type of favor. The primary bidder will be. I gotta think of a. I need or Google a wonderful weird German name. That sounds very hammer. I need a hammer name. I like the name Elmo, but it's kind of tainted now. I think you can't go wrong with a good Wilhelm. Von Kunstler? Maybe. Kunstler so far sounds the best. Although Nezerod sounds good too. Hogsman. An above average sized brain in a jar. They plan on trading this in for a new robust body so they can once again swill ale and what's the word I'm looking for here? For glutton. And glutton as an action. There's a word I'm thinking of that I can't think of right now. There's a word that's like right there. And once again, swill ale and consume massive amounts of food. They have an almost unlimited amount of capital, but are very susceptible to deals, bribery, and simple flattery. I think that's kind of where we'll go with that. It's like, how can they get this? The session will end with the PCs either getting the map, getting Black Peach's map, or failing and deciding to potentially steal it. All right. I feel like that's a good session. I feel like a good session. Leave on a cliffhanger. Okay. I feel like that's good because then they come back to it if they so choose. So yeah, that was a good hour and 30 minutes of good prepping we did there. I'll have to find some stats and put them in this document as well. But I want to say thank you to everyone who hung out, and thank you to Hess for throwing out some really good ideas. I think that maybe next time we meet, or if I'm up early and around tomorrow, I did get my hands on the 5 Parsecs from Coruscant book, which is a fan-made a fan-made 5 parsecs from home book. So what we used last time was just 5 parsecs from home. So I would like to go in and remake our guys with this book. I mean, from scratch. Well, this game tomorrow won't be streamed. It's just a table game, but I'll be happy to talk about it if anyone ends up being interested. So tomorrow, if I get up early enough and I have enough piss and vinegar in me, I might come online for a regular ass prep school, and we'll re-roll our 5 parsecs from home characters because it's 5 parsecs from Coruscant. So we'll see what happens. I might sleep in, but Beard and I both looked over this bad boy and agreed that we like it very much. That it does all the Star Wars that we want to be able to do with 5 parsecs from home. So with that being said, I am going to. Oh, we'll see about the blade. You never know. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to find the stats I need, and then I'm going to go upstairs and spend the rest of the day with my much better half. I hope all of you are doing well. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you in the morning. Who knows? All right. Bye.